CBS News political director and Face the Nation moderator John Dickerson is with us, along with CBS News elections director Anthony Salvanto. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Nora.
Great to have you here. Anthony, let's go straight to the map. A lot of new polls out. Tell us how narrow or how wide is Trump's path to victory?
Yeah, well, Nora, those national polls mean some of the states are getting tighter, too. You look at states he has to win, like Florida. If he gets that, you look at the map and you say he gets a little closer to 270, but not close enough. If he gets Ohio, he gets closer. If he were to get North Carolina, he gets closer still, but it's still not putting him over that 270 that he needs. So he still needs to add another state or two to his column. He could go try to get, let's say, Nevada and something else, maybe even a Colorado, or try to flip a blue state like a Wisconsin. It's only then that he goes over 270, and that just kind of emphasizes the tough road, though it's doable, that he's got in the next few days.
And Hillary Clinton's in Pennsylvania today. What does the path look like for her there?
Well, she's up in Pennsylvania, and as long as she holds it, her path gets easier, because if you were to take her numbers from where they start in reliably blue states, and then if she adds, let's say, a North Carolina to her totals, including Pennsylvania, she goes over the top with 270. So that makes her road state by state a little bit easier, Gail.
Anthony, the race is tight in Ohio and North Carolina, two battleground states. How critical is turnout in places like that?
Extremely, Anthony. Let me show you, let's say, for example, Ohio. When you look at a map of that state, you go up towards Cleveland. This is where Democrats really have to run up the score. They have to get big turnout from their base, from African-American voters. These blue areas up here represent parts around Cleveland. Democrats usually win. It's not just winning it, it's winning by how much. And that makes turnout critical to Hillary Clinton's fortunes in Ohio, because Donald Trump will likely win all these other counties in more rural areas.
Really interesting. John, let's talk about North Carolina, that other state that Anthony just mentioned, too. If she can win North Carolina and Pennsylvania, that puts her over the top. What's the struggle, though, in North Carolina? Black voters, right?
Right. Well, African-American voters and those college-educated voters in the Research Triangle in the middle of the state. So to Anthony's point, she needs to jack up turnout with African-Americans and then depress turnout for Donald Trump, or win herself among those white college-educated voters that have been a part of the Republican coalition, but that Donald Trump has been having trouble with. So she wants to run up her vote and depress his vote.
Her final pitch here has been very anti-Trump, very negative, despite the fact that as we saw in the numbers, there's great disaffection with this campaign. Is that a wise strategy?
There's disaffection with the campaign, disaffection with both candidates. Yeah. But for her, what she needs to do is remind those voters of all the bad things about Donald Trump. Yeah. And what they've seen in the polls, and we've seen consistently, is when Donald Trump is using the teleprompter and is not getting involved in a fight with a Gold Star family or a former Miss Universe, that Republicans start to come home. They start to come back into his column. Republicans who found him and think he's too risky to be president. So what the Clinton team is trying to do is keep the most risky image of Donald Trump in front of voters as long as they possibly can, to keep those Republicans feeling nervous about it.
And what about Hillary Clinton's push for younger voters? Jay-Z's campaigning for her tonight with a concert in Ohio, bringing out Mrs. Carter, also known as Beyonce. Do you think that strategy is effective?
Well, they've got to try everything. I mean, what the Clinton paths, the different paths she has, require her to turn African Americans out, turn younger voters out, go for those white college-educated women. They're trying on all fronts, and so they need every little bit they can get, because Donald Trump has the more roaring enthusiasm.
But when you talk about enthusiasm, the word enthusiasm, I don't think anything could make people more excited or enthusiastic than seeing Beyonce on stage with her husband.
Sure. Well, they may get enthusiastic about seeing the two of them, but that enthusiasm has to translate into a vote. And, you know,
they got to be showing up for more than the concert.
Many a slip between the Beyonce and the voting booth. Yeah.
Right. There's no way they can actually bring one of those early voting booths into the concert.
Right. Exactly. It's very hard to hold a concert in a voting booth. It's very constricted.
All right.
But if they could, they would do it. If they could. John Dickerson, Anthony Salvanto, great to have both of you. And on Sunday's Face the Nation, John will interview Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus. And CBS News election night coverage begins Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. You can also watch all day on our streaming network, CBSN. We will all be there.